A new dawn in the steppe. The boy awoke to pain. His body ached, his throat burned with thirst, and the world around him spun. He was alive barely. The last thing he remembered was fire, screaming, the shadows of the Rouran raiders cutting through his village, and then running until his legs gave out, until his body collapsed on the frozen ground. Now, the morning sun bathed the endless steppe in gold. A vast, empty world stretched before him. The earth felt lonely, silent. His people, his home, were gone. Then, a sound. Crunch. Footsteps. The boy's eyes snapped open. A massive wolf stood before him. She was unlike any wolf he had ever seen. Her fur was silver as the moon, her eyes burning with a strange intelligence. She did not snarl, nor did she attack. Instead, she watched him, studied him. For a long moment, neither moved. Then, the wolf tilted her head toward the horizon, a silent command. The boy, weak but desperate to survive, pushed himself up. He followed. The wolf's guidance. Days passed. The she-wolf led him to water, a hidden stream, untouched by the drought. She showed him how to dig beneath the earth for roots, how to read the wind for the scent of prey. When the cold nights came, she lay beside him, sharing her warmth. The boy began to understand. This was no ordinary beast. At night, he dreamed. Footsteps. A deep voice called to him, a voice older than the steppe itself. The blood of the wolf runs through your veins. Rise, child. Your destiny is just yours. The boy woke in a cold sweat, heart pounding. The wolf was still there, her eyes glowing under the moonlight. She knew. She had always known. The boy was no longer the helpless child who had fled his burning village. Under the she-wolf's watchful gaze, he hunted rabbits, sharpened a spear from fallen wood, and moved silently through the grass. But the steppe was merciless. One evening, the air grew tense. The wolf's ears perked up. A low growl rumbled in her throat. Eyes glowed in the darkness. A pack of wolves, hungry, watching, waiting. The boy's grip tightened on his spear. He understood. He was alone now. The wolf would not fight for him. This was his battle. A wolf lunged. The boy thrust his spear forward. Clumsy, but desperate. The weapon struck flesh, a shallow wound, but enough to send the wolf staggering back. The pack hesitated. They could sense it. He was no longer prey. One by one, they vanished into the night. The boy's breath came fast. His body trembled, but not with fear. With something else. Strength. The she-wolf stepped forward. For the first time, she bowed her head. A sign of respect. The prophecy foretold. That night, under the vast sky, the boy knelt before the she-wolf. "Who are you?" he whispered. She did not speak, yet he understood. Slowly, she raised her head toward the heavens. Above them, the constellation of the great wolf gleamed among the stars. And suddenly, the boy knew. The wolf was more than a guide. She was a symbol, a legend. She was the spirit of his people, and he was the beginning of something greater. The voice returned louder this time, no longer a whisper. A nation shall rise from the ashes, and from the blood of the fallen, a new empire will be born. The boy clenched his fists. The embers of vengeance, destiny, and power burned within him. He was no longer just a lost child. He was the future of the Göktürks. The sun rose over the steppe. The boy stood at the ridge, stronger than before. He turned to Asena. She watched him one last time. Then, without a sound, she turned and disappeared into the mist. The boy did not cry. He did not hesitate. With nothing but his spear and the spirit of the wolf within him, he set off across the endless steppe. His journey to reclaim his destiny had begun.